like authentic. But oh my gosh, this date, like the like authentic, were they calling it authentic Pennsylvania
It was
Dutch spa
awful.
day? I'm like, I'm like a bathtub of milk is my worst nightmare. I do not like milk. I do not want to smell like milk and like rubbing butter. Like
It
this is not
reminded me
cute.
of
Like
when I had chicken pox when I was 6 years old, and my mom would make me take this like Aveeno bath to like, soothe my skin. That is
yes.
what that entire date reminded me of. Literally every activity. And then the butter, I was just like, this is gross. I feel like I'm being invasive by watching this. I know that they realize they are on national TV, but I'm
Yeah.
like, I shouldn't be seeing this. It's a private, very disgusting moment between two seemingly lovely people.
Right? It was so bad. And what I also enjoyed, by enjoyed mean like no, was they couldn't even give them like a like usually they'll give them like a little something to explain what's going on. If it's something that's as weird as this, like give them a little description like, oh, over here you can find oatmeal, blah blah blah, to put on your feet, whatever. Like give them some sort of
Mhm.
like roadmap. Instead it was just like here's all this weird stuff and they walk in and they're like,
Yeah.
well, what are we doing?
Well, here are three types of
It's
slop. There
like
are three
they
different
shouldn't have to
kinds of
guess.
slop. You figure out which slop to do what with. So gross.
I mean, it's awkward. It's awkward enough. Like, at least tell them how to start dealing with the crap you've thrown at them. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It did not to me. Like, if that was me, I would not be like, oh, and I can't wait for our romantic date tonight. I would
Let me
just be
get
like,
out of
man, I
here.
stink. Like, I just need a moment. Like,
Completely.
but they were, she was a very good spirit, like with it. Like, she kind of like, okay, like had fun with it, and he seemed to have fun with it, which I think I mean, I can tell like their chemistry. I think he would have done whatever with
Hmm.
her and been okay with it. So I thought that that was, that was interesting. And what else? I mean, she has an interesting conversation with him where she's talking about, which I thought was interesting. And I know we skipped. I realized we skipped and didn't talk about his
Oh,
conversation with his
yeah.
dad. So we'll go back to that. But I think she did a really good job of kind of easing his anxiety because I mean they have to have prepped her and like told her like he had this hard conversation because she was very comforting towards him and was like kind of setting the expectations that just because his family like his parents didn't stay together doesn't mean that she's feeling like that's going to be indicative of what his approach would be with a partner and which I thought was
Yeah.
very thoughtful of her because just very fitting for Michelle. So he really seemed to sort of appreciate that because I think he had a lot of doubts sort of coming into
Yeah.
the discussion with her and how to approach it. And I thought she really was smart about how she said it to him, which was just kind of like, she's very, interested in like how she's going to stay in love with a partner and how to do that, which I thought was the perfect way to
Mhm.
phrase it so that it didn't feel like, how are you going to handle it differently? It was just kind of like, she's excited to figure out, that process for herself. I thought it was really, really
Yeah,
smart
I
and
feel like
really
she
sweet.
really gets him. When I was watching their date, I
Yeah.
even before I saw the other dates, I was biased in favor of Michelle, and I did not know any of these women at all coming in, but right away I was like, oh, they actually seem like they have real chemistry, they have a real rapport, they seem to understand each other. This is something that actually feels like it could be a real relationship under normal circumstances versus something that
Yeah.
they're both convincing themselves they want because they're in this, bachelor environment. But
Yes.
yeah, I feel like she said a lot of things that really, in to kind of, assuage some of his concerns. Clearly, getting to that conversation with his dad, and we don't have to move on fully to that yet, but it was clear that coming out of that, I mean, he has taken on a lot of, he's sort of taken on a lot of the mistakes that his father has made and has like put a lot of pressure on
Hmm.
himself. Like he seems very concerned that he's just going to be this. He's going to be that person because he didn't have a better example. And she seemed to be aware enough to know like this is something this man needs to be, reassured about. And she did a great job of doing that. And I kind of had the same feeling though after watching, just feeling like, all right, Michelle is clearly the one who's right for him. She's my favorite, I'm like, he's not gonna go with her. So I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping
No.
we're both wrong, but that was my concern too. And that's what happened in the last Bachelor season that I watched as well. He picked, I don't remember which one he picked, but it wasn't my favorite.
Yeah. I feel like most of the Bachelorette
Mhm.
leads pick wisely, and a lot of
Yeah.
the Bachelor leads do not. So I don't have high hopes that he will choose her. But I've definitely been pleased that
Yeah.
she's made it to this point because I like seeing her on the screen, and I like that we're finally getting to know her because so much of the season she hasn't been on screen a ton, and so I felt like we were missing a lot of sort of the substance and getting to know why she's so fabulous because I just knew like she was a late
Hmm.
arrival to the season, so this was like a unique season in that they had some people come in. I'm forgetting, it was either like 4 or 5 weeks in or like earlier in the season, but enough in that it was disruptive. And when she arrived, like I was annoyed about the late arrivals, but when she came in, I was like, okay, fine. I'm okay that they brought people in because it brought us Michelle. So I've been happy that we've gotten to know her more. But yeah, I just don't think I don't think he's gonna get it. But they definitely seem to have a good date, and I like that they have a good mix of like they seem like they connect like emotionally, they connect like mentally, and I feel like then they have like the chemistry too, which I think I don't know that I see that for all of the other ladies. So
Yeah.
I think that they have the strongest mix of all of
Hmm.
those things.
Completely.
I think is why I'm rooting for her so much. But
Yeah, I mean, I think
I
they
don't
just
know.
have more of the
So she was
qualities
very,
that like contribute to a
yeah.
long-lasting relationship versus Rachel, I'll just say it. Like I don't see this going anywhere.
Well, I think so many of the guys end up with the people on the season that they have the most like physical connection to.
Yep, completely.
And it's like that's not gonna get you a
It's
long-term
well,
relationship. It's
also
just
like
not.
I mean that you can't really. I'm sorry, even that information is false information. If you've spent one night with this person and you're already, I don't know, like I don't think that's enough information to know. I feel like it's as likely that you would keep seeing, the person that you're connected with on other levels and have a better physical connection with them as well. It just might not
Mm-hmm.
happen that first time
Yep.
because I don't know, the first time just isn't always that great.
No.